Hi there, Agile friends. I'll come in here just with a quick note to let you know that the Agile Online Summit 2022 is coming soon. To know more, check out bit.ly/AOS2022. That's all one word, all lowercase, bit.ly/AOS2022. Now, stick around to the end of the episode if you want to know more, but for now, on to the show. Hello, everybody. Welcome to our Change Leadership. It's Wednesday, and we have with us this week Ruta Hardikar. Hey, Ruta, welcome back.
Hello, everyone. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So, Ruta, on Wednesdays, we dive into change and what I sometimes call the muddy waters of change management, or as I like to call it, change leadership. I mean, after all, as Scrum Masters, we very often need to be change agents in the sense of leading some of those changes. And we want to hear a story of one of those change processes that you went through. It could be a personal, team level, organization level change. Just walk us through that story, how it happened step by step, and then share with us as you go through it the tools, the tips, the techniques that you learned back then that you still apply today.
Yeah, sounds good. I've been part of different change processes. One process that I would like to share today is how we scaled our team, right? So, different agile frameworks, Scrum, SAFe stands for Scale Agile Framework for Enterprises. My team was working on a product for a company, and that product was basically um, for everybody can pay it was online payment processing. So we figured that there are multiple teams who are working on this product, meaning some portion of the product, somebody is developing APIs and somebody is working on the front end process of it, somebody is just working on the integration part. So there was an opportunity to align everyone since we are working on the same product, right? Um, how about we scale it? How about we create Agile Release Train? So that was the change that, scaling it from just individual teams to art, right? Art stands for Agile Release Train. So I was part of that process, and I joined as RTE, Release Train Engineer. It's in simple words, it's the chief Scrum Master. It's over the art, right? So what we did, to start with, we started with a coaching, right? Why we are doing it. I strongly believe my leaders, mentors strongly believe in why. So that was a collective effort where we coached all the teams as well as stakeholders that why do we want to implement this change? What is the benefit that we are getting? That, if we align everyone towards same objective, it's easy to create that transparency, it's easy to get feedback, it's easy to reflect upon it. And at the same time, if we at the end goal is to deliver value to the customer, by delivering the same product, why not align? So we did that coaching and it took time, right? It's not over the night coaching, it takes time. You have to influence a lot of people, you have to show the value, you have to show some examples who have previously implemented and what were some of the pros
Share
and cons.
stories, right?
Sure,
Like we
shared
do here on
stories.
the podcast.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So we started with that, creating that urgency or why we need it. Okay. Then second step was, once everybody we got that buy-in, everybody was aligned with what we are doing. The next thing is figure out the value stream, right? So how value flows through the system, right? When we identified that, we were able to restructure our agile teams because keeping value at the center, right? We organized around that value. We created our teams delivering that specific piece of the value. That was the second change, you know. Then third, after aligning and then after restructuring our teams, figuring out what our value stream is, the next thing that we did is we launched our art, and for that it requires some preparation, right? PI planning is the event. It's basically you do sprint planning or iteration planning on a team level, whereas PI stands for program increment. It's on the art level, Agile Release Train. So all the teams who are part of
Kind of a
that
group of iterations,
group.
right?
Yeah, big room
Is it
planning.
like 5 iterations or 6 iterations? Some people have different number of
Correct.
iterations.
It's between 8 to 12 weeks.
Yeah,
So
8
some
to
of the
12
teams
weeks. Yeah.
would do 4 iterations, 5 or 6 iterations, right?
Yeah.
So it requires a lot of preparation, right? Aligning everyone on the priorities. What are our priorities? What value do we want to deliver to our customers? After aligning our priorities, then refining them. So working with our teams, whether they understand the requirement, right? And then making it ready to be worked on, right? Third thing is making sure that we have all the preparations ready for that PI plan because it's a big room planning. Usually it takes place over 2 days. So a lot of preparation needed, right? And next, what we did is we facilitated that PI planning with the art where everybody got the tremendous level of transparency and alignment that these are our PI objectives, these are our risks, these are our dependencies, right? This is what can stop us, right? When we say we identified our risks as a group or we collected our PI objectives, everybody was present in the room, including our stakeholders, our agile teams, product owners, product managers, scrum masters, everybody was in the room, right? So we could get that feedback easily. We could align us that this is the end value being delivered to the customer, considering these dependencies and the risks. So the picture was clear and all the teams were aligned towards the same objective. The end result of that was initially, before implementing this change process, before scaling the team, all the teams were working kind of in silos, I would say, because even though they were working on a piece of value for the same product, this particular change brought that alignment and level of transparency. So that was the end result. We used different tools, of course, because it was in pandemic, we were hybrid, and we wanted to engage in person as well as online attendees. We wanted to make it engaging and interactive. So a lot of preparation. There has to be a good software like Zoom or MS Teams where we can do all these meetings in telepresence. We would need a whiteboard because in traditional big room planning, we should do it on the wall with all the charts and stickies. But there are several tools out there. You can use any one of them. There is Safe Collaborate, there is Miro, Mural, there is Microsoft Whiteboard. A lot of other free tools or paid tools out there where you are able to collaborate regardless of your time, location, and the whole purpose of this event is engaging everyone, taking everybody's thoughts, opinions, right? And make it more collaborative. So these are some of the tools that helped. And like I said, it's not overnight process. It takes time. So I would love to hear from all the listeners that if you're part of peer plannings or any sort of scaling process, what are some of the challenges that you faced, and what are some things that worked for you?
Absolutely. And we'll put the link on the show notes to an episode where we interviewed a couple of Scrum Masters who were also RTs, release train engineers, who implemented SAFe in their organization. And I think that slowly we are starting to collect a list of these implementation stories where people share what they've learned. In this episode, for sure, what strikes me is the importance of preparing the adoption of a new way of working with time, right? You talked about it. It was one of the first things that you said, that coaching takes time, and coaching takes presence and effort and repetition, and of course answering a lot of questions, because people will have questions, and they are valid and important questions that we need to answer in order to get people aligned and motivated to do what needs to be done. The other aspect that was very clear to me is that when you start up an ART, an Agile Release Train, you have to do with several teams the same that very often we need to do within one team, which is getting a group of teams and forming a team of teams, right? Like in one single Scrum team, very often we need to help a group of individuals become a team. when we implement ART or Agile Release Train, we very often need to help a group of teams become a team of teams, right?
Very well said. That's exactly, it's all about it, and great results. It's not about framework. I try to coach all my teams, whether you implement Scrum or Kanban or say framework doesn't matter, but people need to be agile. The mindset is important, right? First, let's become a team. Framework is secondary. It is important, but let's first become a team.
Absolutely. Well said. Thank you for that, Ruta.
Yeah, thank you.
Hi there, Agile friends. Thank you for sticking around to know more about this year's Agile Online Summit. The summit will have 4 keynotes and 4 tracks you will not want to miss. The keynotes will touch on critical topics for us, from delivering on time to helping you to focus on sustainability. The 4 tracks are tools, so we'll focus on tools you need to excel at your job, but also your mission. We'll also have a track on sustainability, which is, of course, about people and their sustainable pace, but it's also about how do we bring sustainability to the products and the planet we inhabit. We'll have a 3rd track about happiness, talking about doing what we love and, most crucially, loving what we do. And finally, the 4th track will be live. It will be mostly hands-on sessions to help you roll up your sleeves together with the presenters. Oh, and we will also have a coaching clinic, as we usually do, organized to help you discuss and get inspired to solve the hardest challenges you face at work. This year, we'll have a special emphasis on interaction with your peers, so get your ticket and join the Slack at bit.ly/AOS 2022. As always, we have free tickets for anyone that wants to attend live, and the VIP tickets for those of you who want to keep the videos forever. So check them out at bit.ly/AOS 2022. I'll see you on the conference floor. Leading change is one of the core skills we must acquire, but it is only one of the steps towards our success as Scrum Masters. Tomorrow, on Success Thursday, we will talk about how to define success for the Scrum Master role, we'll cover tips on how to measure your way to that position, and most importantly, how to develop that focus on continuous improvement that is as important for Scrum Masters as it is for teams. See you tomorrow. We really hope you liked our show. And if you did, why not rate this podcast on Stitcher or iTunes? Share this podcast and let other Scrum Masters know about this valuable resource for their work. Remember that sharing is caring.